Get ready for a story that will leave you on the edge of your seat, as we bring you the incredible tale of two heroes who changed the world. Once upon a time, in a world not so different from ours, there lived a man named Atlas. Atlas was unlike any other man in the world, for he possessed a unique ability, the power to manipulate gravity. He could make objects float, fly, and even change their gravitational pull. Atlas had been born with this power, and he had spent his entire life learning to control it. As a child, Atlas had struggled to understand his gift. He had accidentally sent his toys flying across the room, lifted his bed off the ground, and caused chaos wherever he went. His parents had been frightened by his ability, and they had tried to keep him hidden from the rest of the world. But Atlas couldn't be contained. He had always been curious about the world around him, and he wanted to explore it. As he grew older, Atlas learned to control his powers. He found that he could use them to help people, and he became known as the Gravity Man. He would use his abilities to lift heavy objects, rescue people from burning buildings, and even stop earthquakes by manipulating the Earth's gravitational pull. But Atlas's life changed one day when he met a woman named Persephone. Persephone was unlike anyone he had ever met before. She was strong-willed, intelligent, and had a gift of her own. She could communicate with animals. She had been born with the ability to understand the language of all creatures, from the smallest insect to the mightiest elephant. Atlas and Persephone fell in love and decided to travel the world together. They wanted to use their powers to help people, and they believed that together, they could make a real difference. They visited cities, towns, and villages, and wherever they went, they brought hope and happiness. But their journey was not without its challenges. There were those who feared their abilities and saw them as a threat. Atlas and Persephone had to be careful not to reveal too much about themselves, for fear of being captured or hunted down. They had to use their powers in secret, and they had to be constantly on the move. As they traveled, Atlas and Persephone met many people who needed their help. They stopped floods, rescued animals from hunters, and even prevented wars from breaking out. But they never forgot their own struggles, and they always tried to help those who were in need. One day, they came to a small village that was suffering from a drought. The crops had withered, and the people were starving. Atlas and Persephone knew that they had to help. They worked together, and with their powers, they created rain that fell for 3 days and 3 nights. The villagers were amazed and grateful, and they praised Atlas and Persephone as heroes. But their happiness was short-lived. A group of soldiers had seen the rain and suspected that Atlas and Persephone were responsible. They tracked them down and captured them, taking them to a secret government facility where they were held captive and studied. Atlas and Persephone were kept apart, and they were subjected to tests and experiments. They tried to resist, but their captors were relentless. Atlas was forced to use his powers to create a weapon for the government, and Persephone was used as a test subject for a new form of mind control. But despite their suffering, Atlas and Persephone never lost hope. They knew that they had to escape and continue their mission to help others. Together, they worked to break out of their cell, and they fought their way out of the facility. Once they were free, Atlas and Persephone knew that they could never go back to their old life. They had been changed by their experience, and they knew that they had to use their powers to fight against those